Hi, Sparrows. Happy Wisdom Wednesday. Hello, Shatavia. Hi, Jeremy. Haven't seen you in forever. How are you, cuz? How in the world are you? Hello, Junior. Happy Wednesday. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you so much. It is Thanksgiving Eve. Hope you all are ready. For all of you turkey gobbles of you out there. I hope you're ready to get your eat on tomorrow. I know I am, but not overextending either. Oh no, I'm ready. Yes, we have a great evening set up tonight. Great evening. We're bringing on Jes Richardson. One fabulous sparrow, I tell you. Hi, Jes.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly clear.
Yay! I'm kind of loud, so if you can hear me, you can probably really hear me.
I can hear you in Kansas, and that is okay.
I can't help myself. I'm kind of big.
It is okay, and I want you to hold on to that big voice because I told you I love your energy so much. So much. Hello, Shonda. I'm just giving the sparrows time to come into the room. Hi, Nancy. And just give a quick overview. And you are so happy. I thought I was a happy person.
Oh,
you have me.
Yeah, I can't help myself. I'm doing some sharing real quick.
You're doing some sharing. Go ahead and share while we wait for the sparrows to come on. I like to give them just a couple of minutes because usually I'm coming on about right now. Thank you. And you're the first in a long time that's, that's actually gotten in without an issue. So I am grateful. Look at this, all grateful and amazing. Jerica.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes. It is a wonderful thing, and I thank you so much for coming on with me tonight. And of course, like both of us kind of forgot that it's Thanksgiving. Kind of.
Wait.
Hi, K-Huff.
You know what? It's also my oldest daughter's 18th birthday.
Today.
I have had the craziest today. Right now, like I have to be standing because I just ate my body weight in food. I'm like, gotta work this off. Yeah.
Hi, Jes Richardson. Hello.
That's my husband.
That is your husband. I remember his name. So yes, thank you guys for coming into the room. Like I said, it is Thanksgiving Eve, and I know a lot of you are probably cooking and doing all that fun stuff. More power to you. More power to you. However, tonight we're going to have a great conversation with my brand new friend that it doesn't even make sense. I am a grateful girl. I'm grateful because I continue to meet so many amazing people all the time. And if it wasn't for what I do, I would never have opportunity to meet you. So many people that are like minds, that are so resilient and persevere in everything, no matter what comes toward. It's just a fabulous situation. So only in a sparrow world, it's a sparrow life and all the sparrowisms. That's a great thing. It is such a great thing.
You make me want to fly.
And we do, in a sense. We really do.
I need to get my arms in closer. Let's go. Let's fly.
Hello, Joy. So yes, welcome into the room. It's Wisdom Wednesday, and we're going to talk about consciousness and deciding to be optimistic, when we're in tragic situations and learning how to overcome things. And that's what our guest tonight is going to be spotlighting, and you're going to be blown away with her story. And I'm just waiting for the book. I'm waiting for that book to come. So welcome in, It's always juicy in the room. And I am the Valerie Miller of TVM. So I want to say thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to all of the sparrows out there. Be careful on your journeys as you travel to and from. Get to your destinations and be safe. Enjoy family. Love on each other because tomorrow's not promised. So just enjoy the moments that you have that's available. Hello, Veronica Morris. Hi, Sissy. Welcome to the room. So without further ado, I can't contain myself. I can't wait. So out there, be sure to give a round of applause, likes, loves, shares, because like I said, you're going to be blown away with Jes's story. Jes's story. She has an awesome business. And you saw on the flyer what it is. Jes's Booty. That is the name of her business. And she's so much more than that. But the title itself is hilarious.
There it is. It's backwards because I'm using a front-facing camera, but there it is.
Yes, it is awesome. I absolutely love her. Instantly love her. So I'm going to pass the torch over. So please give likes, give loves, a round of applause, show interest in my girl, Jes Richardson. And Jes, why don't we start by just give an overview of yourself? And it's certain things that we're going to have conversations about. And
wow.
We'll take it from there because, we have, we don't have that here.
Recap.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Give it to it.
It's my turn. Sorry, you're very quiet for me. And maybe it's because I'm so loud.
You can't hear me? I'm going to have to project louder. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I feel you now. Yeah, I could hear you, but it was faint. Yeah, what I saw Veronica say was recap, please. I'll do a quick recap. How's that? Well, as you can see, look at this. I'm actually in a tent, which seems crazy, right? This is my office, my studio. We live stream from here 7 nights a week. And life wasn't always this way. Like, it seems so bizarre. We actually moved to Rockport, Texas on the Gulf Coast the day after Christmas 2016 because our son, oh my people, I love you guys. Hi, thanks for joining me here.
Angelina.
Our son was paralyzed from Lyme disease, cat scratch fever, and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. He is the youngest of 5 kids. My oldest just turned 18 today. And when he will be 8 next month, but when he was 4, he got bit by something. Excuse me. And we thought he had the flu, and he never got better. In fact, he got much worse. For 3 months, he ran 103 fever, had spots covering his entire body, and was completely paralyzed. Wow. He was paralyzed for 2 months twice. And we did not know what to do or how to handle it. It took a long time to get a diagnosis. And throughout that process, we lost everything. And the last part of his healing journey for his physical body was to move away from the Austin area and move to the Gulf Coast. So the day after Christmas 2016, we moved here. And like life was going better. We were climbing out financially. His sickness put us very deep, a few $1 million in debt. And we're just struggling, but grateful to be getting by. And like bills were paid, everything was good. Credit was gone, but you know what? Credit comparison to a child, was right. I was like, no question, I'm doing everything it takes. And our family did everything it took. And 9 months later, the very first hurricane evacuation scare that we had ever had was Hurricane Harvey, and it was a direct hit. The eye of the storm at a Cat 4 passed over the very spot where I'm sitting, and we lost 80% of our town and half of our home. And So we had lost everything twice really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And with 5 kids, it was so difficult. Like, I was grateful for every morning I woke up, and I I decided about 20 years ago that I was going to be grateful regardless. But there was something about coming home and seeing every home destroyed and the entire community just gone. The only place that we had been able to go to find healing for him was now just never the same. Never the same. And we lost our kitchen, bathroom, and we got 30 inches of rain in our bedroom during the storm. So we actually had some friends who were amazing, let us stay in their house for 3 months while we went back and forth remodeling. We didn't have water for about 3 weeks or power for 7 weeks after the storm. And we, of course, jobs were gone, everything was gone. And we just were like, we need to do something so extraordinary right now. Right now, we need to live so far outside of our comfort zone because it was like one hit after another, and we'd had some prior to him getting sick too.
Yeah.
So,
You had no waking moment. It was time to wake up.
Right. It was definitely time. Well, there's a church across the street right over here,
Yeah.
and they lost most of their roof, but they had all of this real big lumber that they were just hauling out to the street. And Reed, my husband, goes and says, yeah, let's go get it. And so we just start dragging their roof across the street to our yard.
Love it.
And we didn't have a saw or anything.
Creative
Pardon?
minds. I said creative minds.
That's what it takes sometimes. And like, we just started all working together because we homeschool. So this is our 9th year homeschooling. And we just start building things. And it's like, this is the silver lining from the storm.
Yeah.
We have to do something that is deeply from the heart, that is significant, that matters, that says we are stronger than where we've been. And there is a silver lining to everything. And what Harvey did for us was give us amazing courage and amazing strength to be able to just live outside. And you know what? I didn't plan this, but because this is my studio, this is actually someone's house. The 2x4s from their house have been turned into a planter. And that's the Hurricane Harvey brand that we're known for.
Yeah.
But it's about taking the pain, highlighting the scars, because we all have them. We all have storms. We've all experienced awful things. But it's like, this is beautiful. My scars are beautiful. The scars on everything.
It's a great thing to highlight, because most people try to camouflage. They want to cover it up, and put on the pretense. And it's not about that at all. It's about exposing yourself, seeing what you're actually made of when you're put in a position to nothing.
Yes.
When you're wiped out. That's when the truth shows up, who you really are. It's no time for fakes and facades. This is real life.
Yeah.
When hurricanes come through and take everything you own, and then you have a child that you know has some ailments, and then you have 4 other kids. So 5 kids in the midst of all of that. It's horrifying. Yeah. I commend you. That's very resilient. That's beyond resilience.
Thank you. You know what my husband just said? I am actually standing on the roof of the church. The floor that I'm standing on it because we put the tent over a very solid, I have a 10-inch floor that it doesn't move.
That's a ground foundation that is a wonderful one to be standing on.
Yeah.
It's prayed up.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's wonderful. Everything. Yeah, I see the same principles all the way through life. Like, it's our society is so strange because they say that if we're not, there's so many polar opposites. It's like you either have to be just completely dead and insecure in who you are, or you have to be like this supermodel, like I'm all everything. when really there is this confidence, this surety in
Yes.
who you are
Yes.
that is really the most attractive thing in the world. And it doesn't matter what you look like, where you came from, how much you weigh, how much you don't weigh.
Right.
Because my family is skinny people, and I have the hardest time putting weight on those people. Where I have the opposite problem, and it's like I gotta shove calories down those
Yeah.
kids.
It is. It's a
And
wonderful thing. But, being you and being fabulous, that's something that I always say. Be you, be fabulous all the time because there's nobody better than you. And when you are confident in that, and like I said before, you're pulling out things about yourself that you never knew you possessed. You have
yeah,
to. You have nothing else to stand on.
yeah.
And trusting that and look at what you're building. It's a number of things that you've done. So, I mean, tell us a little bit more because it's so many layers to you. It's hard for me to
Right,
narrow where to begin, when it comes to asking a
right.
question like this joy and happiness that you possess. Like, you totally have me knocked out of the box. Nobody can ever say I'm as happy before as
Right,
right now because I
right.
finally met somebody who is happier than me. That's you.
Oh, but
And
you know
you,
what,
no, it's a wonderful thing. And I'm saying that because
girlfriend? It's not about
tell your
comparing. We can
story.
both be happy.
But no, it's not about a weighing of a scale. It's about
Right.
your triumphs. I know the
Uh-huh.
backstory. The Sparrows don't know
Right.
the backstory. And for you to
Ah.
have such joy after that, and I have a
Wait. Yeah.
passion for some of the things that you're going to bring up,
Yeah.
sincerely when it comes to trafficking, when it's abuse to
Right.
children, when it's things like that.
Right.
Those are things I hold dear. And you've been caught in all realms of that in the worst way.
Wait. Yeah. Wait. And honestly, the hurricane was one of the easiest losses that I've ever experienced. And it was really just like a swift kick in the hiney, is all that was. It was like, oh, hooey. Sorry, trying to be family appropriate.
Yes.
Oh, hooey. um, it lost everything again because that's actually been something that's been so prevalent in my life. Just starting over and starting over and starting over. We enter this world the
Yes.
same exact way.
Exactly.
Someone had sex.
Yes.
Is really how it happens. Like
Oh my God.
someone
Yes.
someone had sex, and a number of months later, you happened. And what happens from that very moment is totally unique to each one of us. It just
Absolutely.
because we started the same way doesn't mean that it's going to end anywhere remotely the same.
Forget
And
that. It's not. It's no
right.
way. We're going to get so many surprises throughout life to where, oh my God, we don't
Right.
know what we're going to get. No different than the sun rising and setting on a day. We don't know what's going to take place throughout the hours. And it's going to take
Mm-hmm.
some strength. It's going to take some optimism. It's going to take undeniable joy in the midst of everything to pull yourself out of that sometime. And it's not easy to stay in that place. You can either go to that left side. However, I don't choose the left side. I always choose joy, comedy. No matter what happens in my life, I turn to comedy first because I need to laugh. I need to find some reason to laugh, even in the midst of whatever the situation.
Right.
I'm going to find something to laugh about. Hello, everybody that's coming
Right.
into the room. Don't think for 1 second that we do not see you. Yes, we do. The juiciness has already begun. Therefore, we're caught up in
Oh,
engagement with Jes. So come in, get
yeah,
comfortable, and send some notes.
my
We're going to get
people love
warm.
me.
And they
Thank you, my
should love
people, for
you.
being here.
Yes.
they
Thanks to all of
they
your
love me, and
followers for coming
yeah.
over. I saw one great new. I'm going to have to go back and read in a few minutes once I can go back and find
Ah,
it. But because someone said something super nice about you, and I did glance and caught some of that because you are what you expect and what you deserve. You're the epitome of that. And I learned that right away. And to say something like, give what you expect, you're it. You're it.
No,
Because you could be the meanest
thank
person
you.
on this planet. You're welcome. But you're not. You chose optimism. So please tell me, that's what I put for this
Right.
show tonight. Choosing
That's
consciousness
the fun part.
and deciding. You decided to be optimistic, even though you've had so much
Right.
tragedy and loss in your life. And looking at right now, it's Thanksgiving and it's so many people coming together. We're talking about family and all of this stuff. You've lost yours outside of your
Yeah.
immediate family with your husband and your children. So you have community as family because your lifeline you've laid to rest. I can't fathom it. I cannot. I cannot.
It everyone's journey is so different, and that's why um my life has taught me one of the most valuable lessons, beyond the story that I want to tell. Yeah, but it's that every time I think I found a soapbox where I think I know something and it's a little better than someone else, or it's a little better than what the world says, something will just whack me straight upside the head and say, that's not happening. And so that was like the moral of my whole life. And it taught me how to really just love people with a sincere heart and not judge, regardless of how they look, how they talk, where they come from, and just really hear stories. And because I learned at a very young age to hear stories and
Yeah.
to really listen with my whole heart,
Yeah.
listening is one of the most neglected of our senses by far. We need to listen less and talk more. Or listen more, talk less. I also say shoot from the hip and speak from the heart, so you never know what's going to fall out.
You are contagious.
Okay, but I want to tell you this really amazing story because this was a pivotal moment in my life where everything changed. I figured it out. I was 21 years old. I couldn't remember if I was 20 or 21, but my daughter, who is my oldest, turned 18 today.
Yes.
And she was brand new, which means I was 21. I finally did the numbers. So my my daughter, about 18 years ago, I was selling long-term care and annuities. And so at the ripe old age of 21 years old, I was cold calling in a call center.
Yeah.
55 to 75-year-old people all day. And I'm telling you, that is the worst demographic to cold call because they are either so lonely and just want to talk forever, and they are amazing people.
Yes.
Or they are so bitter and so angry that they will just chew you up one side down the other, and because they have time, they won't even hang up on you.
It's tough. It is tough.
And it was so tough, but you know what? I was, Mom, you got to do what you got to do. And I remember having this realization, and I'm sitting there in my tiny little cubicle trying to look as nice as I can. I have my black slacks on, and I weighed about 330 pounds. Like, I just didn't feel good about any part of my life. And I had this realization that who I was at that very moment, come 50 years down the road, was going to be so magnified that I had to change the trajectory of my life, because I legitimately had every reason to be bitter, angry, hateful, like hate the world. And I'll actually go back and tell the backstory in a minute.
Okay.
But I had every right to hate everything, to be bitter. When you hear my story, you'll be like, yeah, she did. But in that moment, I crawled under my desk and I snot bubble cried. Like, not that little girly cry, like,
Yeah, the
like
ugly one.
cried.
Yes, the beat one.
And I knew that if I wanted to do something different, if I didn't want to turn into that horrible, angry 75-year-old person that just chewed me out, I had to make a decision right then. And I did not climb out from underneath my desk until I decided that I was going to be unapologetically optimistic forever, regardless of whatever happened to me.
Yeah.
And saying that at that moment was honestly so easy. What was the hardest part was making that decision every day, every moment for the rest of my life.
Yes. Well, you know
But
what,
it's
Jes?
changed
It
everything.
happens. The once you decide it, it's pretty much done. But every day, when you look at it as a goal,
Until that cake comes in.
until the cake comes in, then you can say no to that cake.
Right,
It's
you just
so
got to eat 3
easy.
extra bites.
But then you get to where you say no and mean it. And then
Exactly.
to everything else. So when you do that, it's a congratulatory moment, because the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then it becomes a part of who you are, and it just happens naturally. Deciding is one thing. The commitment is the other, and staying consistent and true to it. And you did it.
And
I do it.
We all have bad days. Like, we could pick any one of those things. I mean, I lost 150 pounds, had a miscarriage, and then 4 more kids, and gained 100 of it back, and then had to lose it again. And like, there's so many ups and downs, and it's like that with any journey. It doesn't matter whether it's relationships, whether it's ourself, how we feel about ourselves, whether it's parenting, business. There's ups and downs. There is no clear path.
Every day, we all have our independent journeys, and choosing to make the best of it is, hey, what can you do? What can you do?
Right.
You have to decide that every day, because you're going to get hit sometimes. You're going to, be sideswiped. But what can you do other than make the choice to say, you know what? I don't care how bad this is. I'm happy. I'm optimistic.
Right. Wait, are you still there?
I'm
sorry, my phone did something. Okay. It's really funny. I believe in little teeny over a long term. Like, eating is a great example, because like, I would go to the store. Do you know what nutty bars are?
Absolutely.
Please tell me you know what nutty bars are. They're the wafer. Okay. I adore nutty bars. They're my kryptonite. But so I would go to the store and I would eat like a whole box of them before I got home. And then I started spending more, which is really unlike me because I'm very, very frugal. But I would spend more and buy the smaller pack and still eat the entire package, but I was buying the smaller. And then I would just do it again. I just kept getting smaller and smaller packs but I can't. I have zero self-control when it comes to nutty bars. And so I at least have to know that about myself, that if I have zero self-control and if I'm going to eat every one that's in the house, buy a smaller pack.
Buy a smaller pack or buy no pack. Because it comes to that. And I understand, because they are that good. And it's one of my indulgences also whenever I get there. Love peanut butter. But the thing is, they're very good. But if you don't watch it, you will keep eating the whole pack, just like you said. But that's how it is with most things in life. Overindulging in it. Making the choice to eat it, making the choice to get a smaller pack, making the choice to say, you know what, I can't have that anymore. Let me choose something else that's better for me than those nutty bars, although they are delicious. You did.
I have a problem. I am rebellious. If someone tells me I can't do something, I am like, oh, you just watch me. You think I can't
love
Right.
the way you sculpt that into your life. Literally.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah.
Smile no matter
It,
what.
well, I still eat Nutty Bars,
Of course.
and but my thighs are a whole lot smaller. I don't know if I'm ever going to give up Nutty Bars, and I'm okay with that. Because if someone tells me to give up Nutty Bars, I might just go buy a box out of spite. Because I'm a grown woman. You don't tell me what to do.
No, you don't want to do that. We all have cravings at times, and when we do it, it's not the end
Right.
of the world. Just know how to put yourself back out of it.
Right.
That's the main thing. But what type of this makeover in your life? Looking at, okay, what was the third thing that follows this? You've got your son, you've got the hurricane,
Right.
you've got, how you're transitioning with the different types of jobs,
Right.
and then you're looking at weight and who Jes is, right?
Right.
Next phase,
Well,
like, what was that looking like? Your makeover when you chose.
oh, boy. I have had so many makeovers
That's
my
what I
entire
want
life.
to say. When do you know it's time for a makeover?
Oh, when do you know it's
When
time?
you know it's time.
True change always, always, always comes from the inside out. Boy, it is windy suddenly. Sorry, background noise. Maybe this is why I'm so loud. I love that Veronica loves Nutty Bars too. Reed loves Nutty Bars. We need to start a Nutty Bar group. True change comes from the inside out, and there will be this moment that life for me and my journey, because everybody's a little bit different, and not everybody is quite as rebellious as I am, but how I change is one massive decision that changes my life, and then a million little teeny actions behind it.
Yes.
Normally, I get about 20, 30 little actions behind it, and I'm like, oh, it's time to cut my hair, or I'm going to quit wearing glasses, or I'm going to start wearing glasses,
right.
or
right.
something happens. But for me, I learned that can I wrap this into my beginning story real quick?
Go ahead.
Because it seems to make the most sense right now. I never really knew who I was. Like, my earliest memories, from when I was a little girl, like, it was never really together in my head. And I know it's because trauma started for me when I was so young.
Mm-hmm.
And I started being raped when I was 4, although I didn't understand what rape was, obviously, because no one talks to 4-year-olds about it. I thought I was having sex. I thought everybody that was 4 had sex.
Oh.
Like, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
And we're talking, it was 1983. I'm 39 years old. So, 83, no one was talking about to 4-year-olds about sex. Like, that just wasn't something that happened.
Exactly.
And even if they did, they wouldn't have known what to look for because it was 3 neighbor boys who were 13, 15, and 19 years old who started having sex with me. And everybody's first inclination is to just be like, castrate them. But no. It's not about that, because you know what? A 13-year-old does not wake up one day and go, geez, I'm sick and tired of playing my Atari. I think I'm going to go have sex with the neighbor. That's not how this works. These children were taught love in the same way they were showing me love.
Right.
And it doesn't make what they did okay. I start that with rape because it really is rape.
Yes.
But it didn't feel like rape because I had the distorted mind that said it was love, that it was compassion, and I didn't know any better because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until we ended up moving away when I was 5, and that ended. But then my father was murdered when I was 10. And my mom ended up getting remarried to a man that was just really awful, awful, awful mean to me. And like, just hold me up against the wall and just tell me, I say it, I'm just a shithead, over and over. Like that. just shitty stuff, like
Right.
shitty childhood. Sorry, I just took all of the bad words suddenly and just crunched them into one little area for you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
There's just no other way to explain it. Like, it, and these things are so common. But what we don't talk about is what it does to the brain. Um, I ended up running away from home, and I had a small, short stint with some gangs, and that that was a part of it for a while. And then I ran away. I actually successfully made it out, which was really big, early 90s, especially as a white girl. You don't walk away easily,
Right.
because I was worth money. Um, and I ended up, a guy walked into my life, told me I was beautiful, told me I was special, told me I could be somebody, swept me off my feet, changed my name, turned me in from a teenager, a minor, into an adult in one day with a new fake ID. And immediately I was trafficked. He was an old
Yeah.
school style pimp.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what hit me. I didn't have a clue. And I spent about 14, 15 months with him until I actually plotted. It was a really long getaway process. It was not easy. Um, and it was a sex worker who actually helped me get away. But because I was making between $30,000 and $50,000 a month, let that sink in. Thirty to
Yeah.
$50,000 a
Yeah.
month. Um, for him, I walked away with not a penny and scared for my life, but I knew what I was making, obviously. And so I stayed in the sex industry for another 2.5, 3 years on my own, and actually built one of the largest escort services on the West Coast, and helped lots of other people get away from their traffickers by being in the sex industry. And then found out I was pregnant, quit everything, and started selling insurance.
The
So,
transition of a career. Okay. What that
right.
you were thrown into, first of all, by you having the experiences that you had, being raped by your neighbors, these teenage boys who were also obviously raped. They were doing what
Right.
happened to them. And that is such a story. You hear more than you want to ever hear about children being
Right.
abused, and then even more so trafficked. So you're running
Right.
away to get away from it all, and then you run into a bigger storm.
And that's typically how it works, is that you don't wake up one day and suddenly be susceptible to gangs or to traffickers or to something. You're running away from something that is empty
Right,
inside of you,
right. What you're
that is
missing.
relationship based.
Yes,
And we need community. It does take a village.
it
It
does.
does take people around. And
Yes, it
it,
does.
it what we have in our culture is not that type of community. And
No.
we desperately need more of it. And that's part of why I talk, is
Tell.
if my
Yes.
experiences, not can they help, it's when they help. And
Right.
as they help other people understand and open up these conversations, it takes the awkwardness and the insecurity out of it. We don't have to be like, we're not 12-year-old boys. We don't have to talk about sex like we're awkward and gangly and we don't know what's going on. Like, we passed puberty. Let's have real conversations
Yes.
about real things.
It takes genuine conversations, questions that need to be answered. Speak to the people who can give you genuine and loving answers, so you're not out here creating crimes. You're
Right.
creating crimes, and whether it was in the past, whether it's present now, because it still happens. Unfortunately, it happens even more so now. It's easier now than it was before. And it just awakens parents to pay attention. But then when you have parents, like you lost your father when you were 10, your mother
Right.
remarried, and then he's pretty much a monster. So you had a
Right.
monster in your home that
Right.
provoked you to want to flee.
Yep.
So basically, throwing you out there.
But think of how common that story is.
It is.
These stories are not unusual, and any one of them are not unusual. What the only thing that makes this entire conversation unusual is the actual conversation.
Yeah. Because most
And that's
people
the
don't want to
irony.
admit it. They don't want to admit it.
Right,
They don't want to have the conversations because maybe a couple of things. Because they've been caught up in that situation and they very
right.
don't want to deal with that pain, knowing
Hmm.
that you need to talk about it in order to heal from it and
Right.
to avoid others that you care about from having to go through the same situation. Because if you put the information out there, talk about signs, what to look for, behaviors of the
Right.
predators, then that's how you can put that type of thing to rest.
You know what?
Communication.
Eh, May I respectfully disagree?
Sure.
Because I I have a book that I have been sitting on that is almost, it's been ready to be published for years,
Yeah.
and I've turned down deals, but it's called Everything I Know I Learned from My Pimp.
I know.
And
I remember that title. That was one of the
the
things that
reason
I had
why
to have
it's
you on
called that
because of that. Because you
is
lived it.
because he taught me a lot of things about business that I would have never learned anywhere else. And one of them is you will never see the signs of a predator. You won't see them.
Explain.
It, no, you can't tell because they're designed. The entire role of a trafficker is to teach the person who's being trafficked how to blend into society.
Right.
Think about it. It's marketing. Me, I was the product. Which means, okay, I went to jail. I was arrested. Hawaii PD, Honolulu PD, had sex with me as a minor, put me in jail for days, and never caught that I was a minor. The police department had me incarcerated and never figured it out. And that's what is so funny. If I were to back up just a little bit,
Yes.
was I had a nonprofit for a number of years,
Okay.
and I fully went in with the same types of ideas where I was like, yes, we're going to help people. We're going to get these programs. We're going to do it. I was all there. I went public with my story of being trafficked in 2009.
Yes.
We left the anti-trafficking movement because I have done dozens and dozens of placements into programs, and I have never had one be successful. The people who are doing the work are doing more harm than good, so much so that we lost everything to
Right.
walk away from it, because I will not be a part of a system that just adds to the crime. You cannot tell without relationship when a person is being trafficked. You cannot. You have to just get
That
to
is
know them.
clear. That is the most
Right.
horrifying thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. It's because that is the entire point. Like, if I were to walk into some guy, okay, some guy, like, orders me somewhere, or calls me up at an escort service, and is like, hey, this girl's coming over. And I come over, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm chained up, and you can't touch me. Like, he's not going to go for that. The person has to be the marketing material. It's just a business. And if the person isn't brainwashed enough to play along, it doesn't work, and they never go out and see anybody.
Right. So
And so that's one of the things that makes me so mad is all of the training within the anti-trafficking movements. You know what's happening? Is really good people who have adopted children of a different skin color
yes.
are being detained because they think they are trafficking those children. That is one of the long-term negative effects of all of this anti-trafficking training.
That's
Is that right? What happens when an Asian family adopts white children? What happens when an Asian family or a white family adopts brown children?
Yes.
It falls right into line with what
Confusion.
looks like trafficking.
It's confusion.
Right? I want to throw you for one more little loop. So a girl.
You like it.
calls,
Okay.
You ready for this? A girl says, I want to get away. and they plan like these SWAT team type events to come and sweep them away. That type of kidnapping is no different than exactly what the trafficker does to pull them away. Many times the girl isn't willing, like the police pull the girls and guys who are being trafficked away without any permission. You're taking them out of their comfort zone.
Yes.
And you're pulling them into a different life.
Yes.
I was wearing $5,000 suits. That's because I was making that kind of money. Never mind the fact that he killed people when I didn't make my quota. But it's just, my husband said it, retargeting is the system. Right. And until we open our eyes and see people for their stories, and that's what's so important, is that regardless of how horrific the situation sounds,
yes,
we have to listen to the story first. You have to build relationship first. You have to know, because they need to be able to come with you. And they need to leave on their terms, because what happens if I try to force someone to lose weight? Or try to force someone to leave their husband?
No, you can't force anything.
Right.
It's not happening.
So why are we forcing people away from their traffickers?
Wow, that is it's heavy. So tell me this. You said you got away. How did you get away? What was your plan?
I wanted to.
Okay. And you said it took time for you to strategize it. Did it happen for you the first time, or did it take more than one time for you to get away?
No, he would have killed me. There's not a doubt in my mind he would have killed me, and he looked for me. So here's what I did. This is a really funny story, actually.
I'm glad you can laugh about it. Serious.
Well, when you hear it, yeah, you'll think it's funny. Reed, if you take my nutty bars, I'm telling you, buddy, it's on. Sorry, my husband's talking to me. We have been married almost 15 years. We can play like this. It's okay. And he knows better. By the time I had been with him about 13 months, I had gained myself some freedom. And so I was able to work and just report in. Yeah. And just tell him what I'm doing, because I was in Seattle, Washington at the time. And I was on call with my pager with escort services and going working hotel to hotel to hotel bars. And what I would do, and it only took me about a month, excuse me, a month of doing this about once or twice a week to get all the information I needed. I would go to my first client and I would make $800 off of him. I'd just work him for every penny he had, which is, by the way, how I got so good at sales. There's another perk from my book for you.
Yes, you'll sell ice to an Eskimo. I mean,
right. So I would get about $800 from my first one or second one. I'd really try to bankroll early in the day.
Yeah.
Because downtown Seattle, there was a law library. And so in my stilettos and $5,000 tailored super mini suits, I would haul my fancy hiney up to the law library, and I was studying the laws around the sex industry, because I couldn't figure out why we could advertise in the papers. This is pre-internet. Yeah. This was 95, 96, 96. Yeah. So why could escorts advertise in the papers? Why could they have ads in the phone book? Why were strip clubs allowed, but why was prostitution illegal? Where was the line in the sand? Right. So I was going in with a really distinct focus. Now, keep in mind, this is right around my 18th birthday. So that's a lot of wisdom coming from a young kid to start with. And what I discovered is the reason the escort services were legal it was that you had to be 4 feet away from your customer. And so I started doing the same thing. I would bankroll early, because if I didn't make $1,000, somebody died. Right. And it was ugly. So I knew that I always had to get my money. And so I would bankroll early, and then I would experiment with my next customer and be like, oh no, I don't do sex. I'm not a prostitute. I'm not that kind of girl. And they'd get super pissed and I'd run out in 5 minutes but I'd keep all their money. So I did this enough that the woman who was running one of the services that I was working for was just like, she kept getting these callbacks and she's like, what are you doing? And one day she had like this heart to heart with me and she's like, I have 2 strikes. I'm about to go to prison for life. If I get one more girl arrested, I'm done. You're doing something different. And I'm like, okay, girlfriend, we're going to talk because I've got this pimp that is awful. You help me get away from him. I'll help run your business. And that is exactly what happened. And we ended up building an enormous empire of an escort service doing so.
My goodness. I'll
So,
say this. You got a halo right now.
Isn't there a song about that? Halo, halo, halo.
Yeah, you get a sparrow halo because simple fact, I can't imagine not even an inkling of what you've had to endure in that industry. So, and I'm sure there are many people just like myself who has no idea of how to go about what to look for and assuming, feeling like it has to be something, there's got to be something that's given off that should give you some form of radar that something's not quite right with this. And it's not always the case. So thank you for spotlighting those truths because you've lived it, you've walked it, you've talked it, you've had the ultimate experience of trafficking, firsthand training with a pimp. Who knows? You could be passing the pimp every day and not even know you're dealing with the pimp. That's what I gather from your
actually, I bet you probably are. And you're probably passing girls that are working all the time, boys that are working. Like, this isn't just a girl issue. We are, and I say we because so much of who I am, I mean, now you get the humor behind Jess's booty, right?
Yeah,
like aircraft and pirates and all, but it's the humor in it. It's that it's some things are just funny, and it's all about relationship. Oh, look at how crooked that is. Everything is always all about relationships, and you can't tell. How many times have you met someone and then a month later they turn out totally different than what you expected? Like,
often.
Right.
Often. That
and
happens.
So why would we, and you add in complex trauma, it's only going to be harder to tell. It's only going to be more secluded, more secret. And so really, you can't ever judge a book. You just have to get to know people and you have to just build a relationship. And you know what? Their stories, they will change your life.
They sure will.
Because you know what? Sex workers saved my butt twice. Because they helped me the first time get away. And then the second time when I was deep in the anti-trafficking movement and I felt something not right. And I actually went to Twitter and I just started tweeting. I'm like, y'all, the sex industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. You can't tell me that all prostitution is trafficking because you know what? I know that for a fact because that means every single girl working in a strip club is trafficked. And that's just BS, right?
Right.
Like, every girl that's trying to pay their way through college or do whatever, you can't have every person in porn being trafficked. There is a huge gray area. And so I just went to Twitter and I was like, I need someone to help me understand this because it resonates wrong with me. And I started building relationships with people who are like human rights activists, sex worker rights activists. And I was like, teach me, help me understand.
Right.
Because this is not right. And I'm seeing major problems and more harm is being done. And you know what? They wrapped their arms around me and they helped me all the way through. In fact, the woman who coined the term sex work, who's been in the sex industry for over 40 years, she like took me under her wing, like really helped me, really taught me, and really helped me understand this middle ground that, again, the moment I think I have something figured out, we're going right back to the beginning. The moment I think I have something figured out, I get in and then realize that it was all wrong. And really, the only way is to go in and say, I am here to learn and love and care, and tell me how to help you.
Yes. Starting with stories. And you are 100% correct when you say stories change lives. And it's one of the things that I have on the flyer and I have all the time. Tell me about it. Because until you stop and listen and gather understanding of what the truth is behind the story, where it resonated from, where it led them to, and the mindset of the person during that particular time of their life, it will give you so much revelation. And it also helps you to understand that person so much better. You cannot judge somebody because you never walked in their shoes. You don't know what they've had to endure to become the person that they stand to be in the present. The whole point of consciousness. And I tell you what, you have educated me yet again. Every time we're talking for hours, we have all these engaging conversations, and then we come on live tonight. Yeah. And then we come back around, and everything I wanted to talk about, we didn't, because everything else was brand new. It's brand new. And it's like, I'm saying to myself, oh my God, Jes. Oh my God, Jes. And thinking about myself and knowing people who have been violated. It's so many people that we know, and they're quiet about that. And I agree with you when you say talk. Yeah. If you do not talk, you're hurting yourself. Talk. And the compliment I give you is that you found joy in it. You found joy in that. You turned it around. You made attempts to help others. However, when you realize that, oh my goodness, it's nothing I'm doing here that's effective. It's not helping. But this is a conspiracy. Right. This is stuff that's happening that's beyond me. I cannot do this by myself or with a village. This is, I want to say, hey, the government's getting parts of it, I'm sure. But you know,
well, I know they got some of me.
It makes you wonder. And I'm being very careful of what I'm saying, because it's something that is close to the heart. And you see it. It's here in America. I saw it when I lived in Italy. Girls and boys kidnapped, trafficking, called them umbrella girls, umbrella boys. And they literally would stand on the side of the roads underneath umbrellas for people to come by and prey on them. It would make me cry every time I almost saw it. And it was nothing. Being an American in a foreign country and can't do anything about it, but heard the stories of where it came from. They think they're connecting with somebody who can help them and their families. Guess what? They get them from moving from Africa. They moving from wherever they need to come from, and they bring them over to Italy and take their passports.
Right.
Those types of things that happen.
You know what? I have done thousands of presentations all over the country on anti-trafficking, trauma, complex trauma.
Yeah.
And I used to do this one presentation where I would ask someone their address, and I would find trafficking on their block. I promise you, I can find people being trafficked on the block that you are on right now. It is really that easy. You don't have to, it is right there. And I can find it, but you know what? You're going to find a whole lot of other things that are just as awful, even closer. And that's really why I'm a fan of building relationships with the people around us.
Yes.
They're getting to know just everyone, having real deep heart conversations, because trafficking is not the worst thing. In fact, it had more perks than a lot of the other things that happened in my life. And it was because I did have some learning experiences. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But I think what bothers me also is that we have such sex evokes so much emotion in people that it's like it makes people really passionate. But we don't talk about racism or poverty. Why is that?
Yeah, great question. That's a great question.
I'm paused on the side. I don't know what keeps happening. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm here, and
Okay.
I can hear you. You just kind of freeze every now and again.
Right. I keep getting messages like my phone is blowing up for some reason. I turned off, I thought, all of my notifications, but it's going crazy.
Tell me to get off your
it's
phone.
it's because right. Um, Sex is something that is really, it's a part of the human experience.
Yes.
And it does evoke powerful emotion because by nature emotional.
Right.
And it's just, I mean, we could go back to the war on drugs. We could be talking about, it's just the new sensational thing that we're talking about.
Right.
The sex history is as old as time, all the other abuses.
Yes. I got parts of that.
Where did it go?
And you're frozen completely. There. Okay. So you're back.
I'm frozen.
You're frozen. However, I can hear you.
Wait, I can't.
Can
Well,
you hear?
awesome. I'll just lean in.
Lean in. Do that. Whatever works.
I can.
I mean, it's
right? Absolutely.
it's a scary thing. It's such a scary thing. And you're right. It's an emotional attachment of things when you connect with someone that way. And it really makes you, gosh, it makes you question so many levels of things. So many. And it's scary. And it just makes you want to just hold your children and your loved ones, especially small kids who has no idea, a little bit closer, and to make attempts to prevent them from going through such things. And that's going to mean step it up to next levels for parents. And hearing your conversation,
right,
pay attention and stop letting your kids go and do so much and having so much freedom without your supervision. It's time to stop those types of things. I know I didn't have that privilege.
And teach them young.
Yes.
Right. It teach them young and watch out for, I mean, the most obvious things to watch out for are like, as you live your life, observe everyone around you. And if you see someone being a meanie head, stop them. It's that simple. Like, don't tolerate people being mean to each other. And it's okay to say, hey.
Right. What is that about?
Stop that.
Yeah. What is that?
Right.
Where is it coming from? Yeah.
Right. It's really just standing up for people, being a kind person. I think the thing that got me was that I've always deeply loved people, regardless of what happened. I have a deep love and fascination with humanity. And like, I just love stories. I've always loved stories.
It's an escape. And that's how it's always been for me. Like, I want to hear your story. And I will forever say, tell me about that. Tell me more about that, Jes. What do you mean? Explain that. It's going to be certain words. I'm going to say it over and over and over because my interest has been piqued. I'm listening to you. It's better than watching TV. When you can sit and have a conversation. A lot of people say about coming here to TVM, So this is an interview. I'm like, no, it's not an interview. It's a conversation. It's no different than at the kitchen table, sitting at a restaurant, outside in the park. You're having engaging conversation because you choose to take the time to get to know somebody else. that easy.
Yeah.
It's that easy. It's not an interview where you have
Yep.
select questions that you're going to ask and then they're going to respond, and just like playing a tennis match, it's back and forth. No, I want to let Jess
Right.
run. I want Jess to say what Jess wants to share. And then these are things I'm learning about you that otherwise may not come
Hmm.
up. So that's
Right.
why I feel it's so important to have these types of conversations, because it's a protection for your families, it's a protection for your children. Even though you may not be able to
Mhm.
stop it, but you do have a responsibility to be engaged in your children's lives and knowing who they're dealing with, who they're seeing, who they're spending time with. You need to do your work and stop being so trusting and pushing them away in front of a computer or some tablet, and you don't
Mhm.
know who they're talking to. This is where a lot
Right.
of predators
O-
come in and
Or,
prey on kids, because you look like a
you
teenager
know what?
online, but it's an adult.
Right. You know what we do, because our children, we homeschool,
Mm-hmm.
but we are very, very technology friendly, because I believe technology is the way we're going. Like,
It's
that's how we make our money.
it's it.
So why would I take their tool away from them when they're going to be making money on it someday too? But
Absolutely. Parental
we
controls,
engage
though.
with them on it.
Yeah.
So we know what's going on. We know the gamer tags. We know how they chat. We like it. I am never growing up. And for me, as we grow in success, all that means is I have more gamer time.
Yes. I commend it.
That
You have to stay a child to some level. You
it's
have to
important.
have those curiosities.
Yeah,
Stay just how you are, Jess.
absolutely.
And you know what we haven't done? We haven't read not one comment. We have to read some of these comments.
Oh,
We haven't read any.
I have actually read all of them. And
I read them, but we
there are
haven't
so many, and I just
discussed
kind
them.
of read and nod. And
Yes.
there's
But
y'all have been awesome. Like because we do live shows, we actually really talk to our audience a lot. So my
right.
people, Kelly, all of them who are on here, Allie, I've seen quite a few of them.
I see
They're
them.
used to us bantering. We banter all the way through our show.
That is
And it's so
perfectly
much
fine.
fun.
That's fine. But here, the Sparrows like to engage. They have questions. They like to be recognized. And,
Right.
just saying hello. Like everybody who's come in, I'm now shooting out some waves. My apologies. You can't help it with Jess.
Yay!
Jess is pretty awesome. She has so much to share. I'm always intrigued to want to know more. Um, so if there's anything in
Right, and
addition
you are awesome
that you've heard,
too.
well, thank you. I really appreciate it. So it's lots of likes and loves in here when it comes to that. I can't express enough gratitude because it's always a fear. And I knew bringing you on, it would be awakening to a lot of parents who have children. Pay attention to them. Spend time with them.
Yeah.
You're fortunate to homeschool yours. But for those parents who have to send their kids out
Well,
every single day,
a
that's something.
life it was a life choice. And we have sacrificed a lot to be home with our kids. Um, Life could have been a whole lot easier
Yes,
if we did not have to homeschool.
right.
But we are that dedicated because both my husband and I came from very broken childhoods.
Yes.
And I didn't expect to have this many kids. But when it happened, it was like, nah, we got ourselves into this mess. We are doing it right. And whatever it takes to do it right, we will do it. And so if that means you live stream from a tent, yeah, I will raise my kids.
Thank
And it's not easy, but it was very much a life choice for us to say this is what we're doing and we are not going to waver from it.
you.
And our kids love it.
I commend you.
And,
And it's a few, families I see. It's a people some on the timeline that I know who are also homeschooling for those very
mm-hmm.
reasons. It's about protecting and doing what's necessary for your child. And to me, those are preventives. It's preventives.
Right.
Where you're controlling the narrative, you know exactly what's happening, and they are using the tool of computers, tablets, whatever, with engagement to getting homework assignments and things like that done. But at the same time, you know who they're associating with. You know
Right.
every page turn of what their engagements are and with whom. And I just wish
Right.
for those parents who are not doing these things to get more involved and, you know, reassess yourself, take some back seats to some things that you feel is necessary for you to do, and put the focus back on your kids, because there are predators out here
Right.
every day just waiting to pounce on them, waiting to lure them from
And
home, waiting.
absolutely. Can I give you a secret too?
What?
There's a reason they're all playing Minecraft and stuff. It's really fun.
It
It's
is
a
really
good
fun.
time. And if you're playing with your kids, you're bound to have a good time. And
Okay.
we as parents just get too busy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I see. I spent so much of my professional career. I just quit adulting about 5 years ago.
Right.
So I had a suit and heel life, and um when you adult, you just don't have time for those types of things.
Mm-mm.
You just don't do those things. And you know what? That was one of the biggest mistakes of my life, and probably one of my biggest regrets, is that I quit playing. And I still don't have it all figured out because I work a lot. Building a business is hard. Like,
Full
we're
time.
recovering from a storm. We started with less than zero 11 months ago.
Yes.
And so, but playing is fun, and being a part of their lives. They're just little people. And you know what? Someday they're going to grow up to be big people.
Yeah.
If you are fortunate enough,
If.
they will grow up.
If.
And
Mm-hmm.
it, it, it I say it more than I care to admit. Um, it's not that kids are wrong now. It's their parenting. It's not that kids are different or bad. It's the parenting that went bad.
I agree.
It's what happens the moment you exit the womb that changes everything.
Yes. Yes. They're priority.
Yeah.
They are priority.
And it hasn't been easy. There is no silver spoon. There is, I mean, clearly, if we had the resources to be able to do something different, and I sure as heck wouldn't be in this tent right now.
Thank you.
But we're working on it, and we're building it, and we're doing it together as a family. And you know what? Can I segment for a quick plug? Because I have Black Friday going on in my store right now. Everything in my store is 40% off, and we are liquidating a lot of it. So if you want some stuff and you're Black Friday shopping and this story has been significant for you, then go buy something that says you are stronger than the storm.
You are stronger than the storm. Everybody is stronger than the storm. Just choose to be stronger than the storm and go by Jes's
So it's
booty and buy
Jes,
something.
JESBOOTY.com, and the coupon code is Black Friday, all one word. That's it.
So you get it first here on TVM. Jes's Black Friday movement on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And she's got some really great things.
Yeah, I don't like rules. I started Black Friday on Monday because I do what I want.
You can do that when you are the boss.
Right?
And you can tailor your business however you want. And that's one of the things I love. Now, we're going to fast forward just a little bit. And of course, you can plug. You can plug at the end and tell us where they can take part in your Black Friday. However, give us a snapshot of Jes's booty. Now, I know how the name came to be. We've talked about that throughout this entire segment. However, what are some of the goodies that can be found at Jes's Booty?
Well, we're really going through a big shift right now, which is awesome. And the reason I started Black Friday early was because we started the business doing all the manufacturing ourselves, and then discovered that
Okay.
we had bigger problems, that because of the storm, tourism was down. A lot of artisans weren't making the sales that they normally were, and it takes a really
Mhm.
two different sell beautiful art. And so
Okay.
wood lines that we manufactured and are bringing
You really are freezing up over there, Jess.
reclaiming. And so everything we
Okay, I'm
work
going to
with
try to
has
revive.
been
Okay.
reclaimed, and because that's really there.
Be patient, Sparrows.
It's free. So
I'm sure she'll. There she is. This is bad, Jess. We get right here to tail end, and then you freeze completely.
are you
Lean
there?
in, girl. Lean in. I am. You're frozen on me.
I'm sorry.
And we've lost her. Just like that. So hopefully she'll be able to come back in just a minute. I'm going to send her another invite and see if we can get her back in. We're trying to wrap it up. And I'm going to add her back in. I think I can. I think I can. I am pleased with Facebook tonight. Facebook, get a kudos. For the simple fact, I did not have to have that Facebook Be Patient Sparrow talk tonight. But I'm not going to speak too quickly. It's saying adding her back in, but it has not happened yet. And I'm going to scroll through some of these comments as well. And I know it's been quite a few of you who said some things. And I'm missing some waves while Jess comes back in. Any major plans for you
Da,
all?
da, da, da,
Oh,
da, da, da,
you're back.
da, 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 da.
Do it again.
Ta-da!
Do it again. If you could spell joy, that would be
That's
great.
my hokey pokey dance.
Okay, now snapshot of what you said before you were frozen in time. Please. What was it?
Oh, we I don't even know, because I just kept
You
on
did.
talking. You know how when you talk long after someone hung up? Yeah, I was just talking away.
Oh my.
Basically, we work with artisans. We have one line that we continue to create, but we work with artisans at Reclaim, because really taking something that is garbage, turning it into something that is beautifully handcrafted, is truly my heart and my passion, because
That's beautiful.
we all have a story, and I believe that every single one of us need things in our home that say, I am
Yes.
stronger than the storm, that there is nothing that can knock me down. And when you have a bad day, you can look at that one thing that is sitting on the shelf and say, that
It's a reminder. And a great one.
and
We all need
that
those things in life.
it's that little thing that we all need sometimes on those bad days. Just say, you're stronger, you can make it, you can do it.
You got this.
And
That's
because I'm
right.
remarkably practical, I love like functional art gifts.
Yes,
That's
but please, but listen, tell the Sparrows what you made that
it.
out of. You are into vinyl. And she's gone again. Oh my God. This is so interesting. My goodness. And I'm going to make one more attempt because we're trying to wrap it up for tonight. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I really don't know if I'm going to be able to this time. I'm going to make a secondary attempt, so we can finish up this show and you guys can get back to your Thanksgiving Eve. I would love to know what you're going to be doing. While you're at it, just tell me where everybody is viewing from. I didn't ask you to do all of that tonight, so be sure to do that. Where are you watching from? I have different people coming in and out. There's quite a few names I've never recognized, and I'm sure you're probably from Jes's camp. However, do share. Are you in Texas? Are you in some other locations around the country? And then we've got Happy Face coming back on again, and we don't know for how long. So, Jess, once you come out of your frozen
Oh
state,
no, I don't
I
think this
would
is gonna
love if
work
you
on
would give
my
us your
end.
website.
Right. I think it's gonna work.
Well, you said it was windy out there. It could
And
have
I
to do with that.
appreciate you.
I think you were saying thank you. I'm going to say you're quite welcome. And what I will have Jess do is enter her information into the comments as we both go and comment on what you all have shared tonight. And I'm going to apologize because she has such engaging information. Normally, I will be back and forth answering some of the inquiries or comments that you've placed into the room with her while here. Since she is now gone, what I'm going to do is say thank you so much for joining us tonight. And it's so much information that I'm taking away. And I'm hoping that you've taken away too. Please protect your children. This trafficking is real. And what can you do other than be protective of your children? Hold them close and dear. Know who they're engaging with. Know what they're doing on their devices, where they're spending time with sleepovers and things like that. Because I know for sure my dad and mom did not play that. We were not having sleepovers. And that was inclusive with family. My daddy wasn't big on that type of thing for the very fact he said, if I don't know who's there or what's going to be happening while you're out of my care, out of your mother and my watch. So nowadays, I can understand and appreciate why they were so strict on us growing up because these predators are real and they look like people we know every day. These are people that we hang around. These are people that are in our lives that are committing the crimes and causing so much anguish and heartache and changing lives every single day. And it's very difficult to control. However, we can do our parts to protect the kids and turn all tragedies as much as you can into something that's optimistic and happy. Find the joy in all things. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Know that you are stronger than the storm, as Jess said. And it's a choice to do that. Decide to live happy. Decide to live free from bondage and blocks and things that hinder you from growing in your life every single day. It's that easy. It's just a decision away from you pushing to greater and knowing that it's much greater in life than the hand that you're dealt most times. Okay, don't get stuck in an era. Don't get stuck in situations that is blocking you from having the absolute greatest life that you can. That's my plea with each of you out there. If you know someone who's suffering, help them. Talk to them. Have engaging conversations. Put the phones down. Sit around and talk. Have conversations face to face. That's all I ask. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and I'm going to say smooches. That's what I'm going to do because I need to prepare myself for tomorrow as well. If you're traveling, be safe. Do not eat too much. Start preparing yourself, you know, for other festivities that's going to be coming up because usually after Thanksgiving, Christmas is here, New Year's is here, tons of parties, all kinds of things. Have fun. Definitely have fun, but prepare yourself for your best. Sometimes if you have to say no, say no. And I'm saying that because coming along the first of the year. It's going to be some changes and goals that you're going to be setting for yourself. And keep your eyes open and your ears as well, because Be Fabulous 365 is coming to you soon. And that program I am launching the first of the year. And those of you who are wanting to make some changes right now, if you're transitioning from careers into entrepreneurship, so you can be like myself, so you can be like Jes, so you can be like what you've always imagined yourself to be in life, to be independent. I also have a program starting on December 6th, which is in about a week from tomorrow, actually. Exit strategies, some of the vital information you're going to need to transition yourself. And I have a 4-week program. If you're interested, inbox me, call me, whatever. Do these things to make your life greater. That's all I'm asking of you. Make yourself better and live a great life. Therefore, I'm going to say smooches to each of you. Don't eat too much. Have fun. Love on family and friends, all of those that you cherish. Be sure to keep them close and dear. So I'm going to send you a virtual hug and a smooch across the miles, wherever you're watching from. And love without conditions. Always possess a positive attitude and soar in all you do. Be blessed, Sparrows. Love you, mean it. Smooches.